The next day I wake up to the sound of voices. Looking over, I see Zack and Kara speaking in low whispers. They consult with Leanna and Amelia while the pongo snores softly beside me. As I stir in my bedroll, Leanna glances over at me.
Good morning.
Morning. The pongo opens groggy eyes as I carefully scoot out of the bedroll.
Hi.
Sorry. I was trying not to wake you. Go back to sleep. He opens his mouth wide in a sleepy yawn.
Boy.
Shaking himself in a little shudder, he blinks his eyes a few times and then focuses a wide grin.
Hi.
I guess he's awake now. He helps with me as I take a seat with the rest of the party. What's going on?
We're mapping out our route to the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout.
Oh?
I figured you might want to sleep in. It'll end up being a bit of a journey to get there.
I give Leanna an appreciative smile. Thanks. So, where are we headed then?
The Cloaked Brotherhood is located somewhere within Bridgewick, and that's located back towards the southeast.
Sounds like we'll be doing a little bit of backtracking.
You are correct. However, that is still advantageous towards our main goal. To reach the water temple, we would have to travel in the same direction regardless.
That's not too bad then. Although I figured no matter what, we'd have to travel south since we're pretty far north. Kara faces Zack.
You're positive the Cloaked Brotherhood is in Bridgewick.
He nods.
How do you know if you never joined them? Even through all my research and contacts, I wasn't able to learn their location. They keep it very well protected.
I wasn't supposed to know it either. The Brotherhood doesn't reveal the location until you've been initiated. When I was sent to complete my initiation mission, one of the men let slip the location before confirming the completion of my mission. I haven't gone there myself to confirm, so once we reach Bridgewick, we'll need to do more scouting.
It still sounds like our best lead.
I guess we have our plan then. The team separates as we clean up the camp and get ready to depart. Then we begin the trek towards Bridgewick. It takes us a few days' travel back south. Even though the mission of our journey has changed, Leanna still has me follow a strict training regimen. We continue to practice sparring and casting, and I feel myself improve with each session. It won't be long before I can beat Leanna in a match. I hope. After about 5 days of traveling, we finally arrive in Bridgewick. The cobblestone streets are paved and well kept. As we pass through the marketplace, I hear the growing voices of peddlers advertising their wares. More traditional shop fronts line the streets, and a few shopkeepers chase away any tents set up in front of their stores. The pongo buries his face into my neck as we walk through. People bustle about as they shop. Everything about this town feels strangely ordinary. If I didn't know any better, I would have guessed there's a dark guild hiding beneath this ordinary facade. I wouldn't have guessed there's a dark guild hiding beneath this ordinary facade. Huh.
What is it?
This place seems kind of pleasant.
What were you expecting?
Something more like a wolf's den vibe, honestly.
Hiding someplace unremarkable is a pretty good strategy. They don't typically see too much crime here.
I wonder how much influence they have on the townsfolk here.
Probably very little. I'd guess that most of the townsfolk don't even realize that the Brotherhood is even here.
Even so, I'm not sure I like the idea of us just hanging around in plain view like sitting ducks. Maybe we should go to the inn until we can figure out what to do next. Zack shakes his head.
Too many people might recognize me there.
I thought you said the townspeople were innocent.
They may
Maybe, but the inn is a prime target to leave Cloaked Brotherhood scouts. They'll most likely recognize Zack and alert the guild that he's here.
Kara frowns, looking worried.
That's a good point, which brings up an even larger problem. Where can Zack hide out? It might take a few days to even find a lead. He has to be able to stay and sleep somewhere.
I have a contact here. We can ask him if he'll let me lay low for a while.
Kara raises her eyebrow.
Who is it?
A friend of a friend. He won't turn us away.
Zack leads us through the city and pauses in front of a small shop. A sign with a hammer and anvil hangs over the door. This must be a blacksmith's forge. He opens the door and a small bell dings above our heads. Weapons line the wall, their blades winking in the light. I can hear the faint sound of a hammer smacking against metal as an orange glow flickers down the hall. We wait a few minutes to see if anyone comes out. When no one does, Zack leads us to the back where we see a man. His face is sweaty and wrought in concentration as he hammers on a blade. Sparks fly when he hits it. The constant hammering is making my ears ring. Zack steps out of the doorway, his shadow casting over the man's work.
Hey,
The man looks up and blinks.
Oh, good afternoon.
He wipes his forehead with the back of his arm and smiles.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It's usually pretty quiet out front at this time. What can I do for you?
are you Adrian?
His smile remains on his face, but a line of tension creases his brows.
I am. Who's asking?
I'm a friend of Damon.
Adrian's eyes widen, and he lets out a long, slow breath.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
He always spoke very highly of you. Said the only blade worth having was the one forged by Adrian.
Adrian laughs, a deep, throaty rumble.
And then he switched to dischargers. Lost out my business when that happened.
His expression softens as he takes a closer look at Zack.
You that boy you took in? Although, you're not so much a boy anymore.
Zack.
Adrian nods.
I'm sorry about what happened to Damon. He didn't deserve to go like that.
No, he didn't.
Zack lowers his head, so his hair falls into his eyes. Zack isn't usually this emotional. Whoever they're talking about, he must have meant a lot to Zack.
Anyway, Damon was like a brother to me, and I know how much he cared about you. He wouldn't stop talking about how you were going to be one of the best mercs out there, maybe rivaling even him. Anything I can do to help, you just let me know. A friend of Damon's is a friend of mine.
Zack nods. He takes a moment to recompose himself and looks back up.
I appreciate the offer. In fact, I do have a favor to ask. Would it be alright if I lay low here for a while?
The blacksmith strokes his chin, smearing soot across his jaw. I notice the skin on his forearms looks like it's been melted, and it takes me a moment to realize that they're burn scars.
I won't ask why, but can you promise me you won't bring anything back to my shop? I don't need any trouble here.
I promise, you won't be involved at all.
He grins a little and nods.
Then, feel free to stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
The rest of you going to stay here too?
Leanna shakes her head.
It's a bit crowded in here, and we've got some things to take care of first. Hi!
Adrian eyes Pongo warily. The Pongo shrinks from his gaze.
Hi!
He wobbles over to my legs and hides behind me. Well, actually, the Pongo might stay. You'll be on your best behavior, right? He grins up at me and cuddles against my leg.
Hi, boy!
Just in case, I reach for a small crystal stacked in the shelves and fish for a handful of coins which I offer to Adrian. Is it okay if I buy this? He accepts my coins. I offer the crystal to the Pongo, who excitedly snatches it up. He wiggles happily in a little jingle dance. Leanna melts as she watches the Pongo.
Aww.
He should be good to go and won't touch anything else in the shop. Satisfied, Adrian nods.
All right, you can stay.
Kara touches Zack's arm.
We'll be back as soon as we can.
He nods but doesn't say anything. Kara gives him a gentle squeeze before we return to the main room. We pause before leaving the shop. Once outside, I face the remainder of our party.
Alright, we've got to find the location of the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout. It'll make more sense if we split up to find information.
Agreed. Our best course of action is to investigate in pairs. That way, should anyone befall any trouble, they will not be alone.
Good thinking.
Amy and I will start in the north of the town, while you two start in the south. We'll meet up back here afterwards.
Once agreed, we split up. Leanna and I head off in the direction, while Kara and Amelia go the opposite way. Leanna and I pause at the marketplace.
I'll scout some of the buildings out around here and see if I can find any unusual activity.
Okay. If you ask around inside, I can look around out here in the marketplace. She grins.
Sounds like a plan.
She heads off. I turn around and scan the area. Two guards are playing some kind of dice game in front of the fancy-looking building with a wrought iron fence. They don't seem to be keeping a particularly good eye on the town. Excuse me. The guards pause. They look up.
Yes, can we help you?
How's protecting the city going? The guards blink.
Fine.
Arrest anyone suspicious lately? I lean against the fence, trying to appear super casual. You know, like some murderer from a really secretive mercenary guild or something? The other guard's face settles into a
Is
frown.
there something you need? We're kind of busy.
I glance at the dice game. So much for protecting and serving. Right, sorry. I shuffle away. Excuse me. The woman freezes. She stops and turns around. The woman's mouth pulls into a distorted frown. She takes in my leather armor and sword strapped onto my back, her eyes guarded and wary. She shuffles her son behind her.
What do you want?
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the town? Her eyes narrow.
What about it?
I've just moved here a bit ago. Is there anything you think I should know? The woman pauses. Her lips flatten into a thin line.
Yes. You shouldn't be traveling alone.
Her grip tightens around her little boy's hand. My stomach clenches. Oh? I shift uncomfortably. Why? Is there anyone strange out here? The woman's mouth clenches shut. Clearly she's not up to answering any more of my questions.
If you'll excuse me.
She elbows her way past me and disappears back into the crowd. I walk up to a group of people, mostly young guys. They're clustered together, blocking off an alley. Someone must have said something funny because they abruptly burst into laughter. Hey! They look up at me.
What do you want?
Do you know where I could find the Cloaked Brotherhood?
The what?
You know. I look around to make sure no one is listening. When it seems safe, I cup my hand up in my mouth and whisper loudly, "The Cloak Brotherhood." I wink, a little more exaggerated than necessary. When they don't respond, I elbow the first guy in the ribs. "You know! The Brotherhood? Huh? Huh?" The group stares at me like I've spoken another language. The first man shoves my elbow away. His face curdles into a
What
growl.
are you talking about? Get lost!
I leave before any trouble starts. Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing I could have said. That wasn't as successful as I'd hoped it'd be. I search for Leanna and find her outside one of the buildings. "Any luck?" She shakes her head. "Me neither."
Maybe we should head back and see if the others have had more success.
Yeah, good idea. We make our way back to the blacksmith shop. It looks like Kara and Amelia are already waiting for us.
There you guys are!
Kara splits into a bright smile when she sees us. She seems to be in a good mood. "I hope this means you found something."
You bet! I think I got a lead.
I raise my eyebrows, impressed. "Really?" She nods.
I noticed there were a lot of people going in and out of this one area. It might be nothing, or it could lead us exactly where we need to go.
Leanna nods in agreement.
That sounds like our best bet. We should grab Zack and get going.
We meet up with Zack and fill him in on what we found. He straps on his discharges and together we head out of the shop. He takes us through a shortcut in the city, hitting more isolated streets. The fewer people who see Zack, the better. She steers us into an alleyway and then turns into another sharp corner.
Right here.
She gestures to a house. I squint at it. It doesn't look any different than the other houses in the city. What exactly am I looking at?
This place doesn't seem like much, but I've seen people come in and out. If this was someone's home, you'd expect to see the same person there all the time. But that's not the case.
Let's check it out then.
There's a man stationed right outside the home, but Zack easily knocks him out. We enter the house. The first thing I see is a rickety dining table and a meager kitchen. Sunlight slices across the floor from a single window. I notice a red flap covering the entrance to what might be another room. Kara walks around the room, testing the floors and walls for any creaking or hollow sounds. She subs aside a curtain and exposes a blank wall. Pushing against a knot in the wood, the wall swings back to reveal a doorway leading to an underground staircase. I wait for Kara to grin or make one of her usual jokes, but she doesn't. Instead, her jaw clenches. She looks nervous. We all stare down into the dark.
Let's go.
I stiffly nod. We descend down the stairs. A bright light bursts through the dark. At the bottom of the steps, I can hear two male voices. Whoever it is, it sounds like they're laughing and joking with each other. Zack draws his dischargers. There's a crack, and then a flash of violet light. The sentry grunts in pain and collapses before he even has a chance to sound the alarm. I dash down and ready my sword. The guard cuts up my face with his sword. I lunge, blocking him with a spray of sparks. My manipulator glows, and I hack at him again. He cries out, struggling to keep up. With a final swing, his sword clatters to the ground. With the sentries disposed of, we step past them and follow the hallway. Zack leads the way as the hall opens up into a large room. It's darkly lit, with deep wooden tables. It looks like some sort of guild hall. There are alcoved areas branching from the main hall, one of which is guarded. If I had to guess, the ledgers are probably stored in that room. The others must have come to the same conclusion as we get closer to get a better look. A floorboard creaks, and another bandit hears us. He scrambles for the discharger at his waist, but he's not fast enough. Leanna shoots her hand out, and a wind gale blasts him away.
Let's go.
We walk around the bandit sprawled across the floor and follow Zack into the room. A man looks up at us from behind a desk. He has a shock, red hair, and a few scars across his face.
You can't be back here. This is for authorized...
He freezes, the words caught on his lips. Then his eyes widen.
Zack?
A heavy pause. Zack's face is taut with shock.
It can't be. There.
Vader gapes at him. Then his expression melts into a wry smile and a laugh bubbles out of him.
Of course it's you. It's always you, isn't it?
Zack's face is frozen with shock and confusion.
There. You're alive.
Yes, and I'm just as surprised to see you, too. Although I really shouldn't be. I should have known better.
What are you talking about? Where have you been this whole time?
Fire shakes his
A
head.
bit slow on the uptake. Honestly, I expected better from you, Zack, the prodigal son.
Zack's jaw clenches.
You've been here with the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Vara slides into a slippery grin.
There you go. I knew you'd get there eventually.
Zack's eyes darken to the color of a storm.
Our last mission together. You, me, Damon, and the others. We had to transport the weapons. Seemed easy enough at the time. You were there on the crystal rail with us. But you weren't there when they all got attacked.
Vare's mouth curls into a snarl.
Apparently, neither were you.
No. I was sent to look for you. We thought maybe something happened when you didn't return from scouting.
Vare scoffs.
Damon couldn't even trust me to do one thing. He sent you to fix it for me, didn't he?
He was worried about you. That's what happens when you're part of a team.
Don't give me that bullshit.
Vare's eyes narrow. He grips the back of his chair so hard his knuckles turn white. The words flow out of his mouth like poison, each one more clipped and venomous than the last.
Damon only cared about you. The rest of us only mattered in how we compared to you.
That's not true!
How would you know?
I knew Damon. He cared about all of us. We were a family!
Vare croaks out a laugh.
You're still just as naive as before. And if Damon hadn't trusted you as much as he did, maybe he'd still be alive.
Zack grips. His discharger tightens.
You were sent to find me, but you couldn't. Because I'm smarter than you, and always have been. It's too bad Damon wasn't able to see that, but I found people who did.
He gestures to the guild around him.
If you had caught me, then maybe the attack wouldn't have happened. Maybe the Cloaked Brotherhood wouldn't have secured the weapons and killed everyone on that crystal rail. Damon died because you couldn't complete your mission.
Suddenly a loud crack rings in my ears, and a flash of purple sparks in my vision. Zack stands with his discharger raised while Vare clutches at his side. He snarls as he whips out his discharger and shoots at Zack, who deftly dodges it. I snap back to reality and pull out my sword. Leanna immediately power up the manipulators as Kara reaches for her daggers. Fire crumples into a heap on the ground, gasping. Zack's eyes from a dark abyss as he calmly aims his discharger at Voyer's head. Kara's eyes widen.
Zack, what are you doing?
My stomach gives an unpleasant twist. Leanna and Amelia look equally as shocked. Zack! Zack's grip on his discharger tightens. Kara slowly steps towards him.
Look at him. He's done. You don't have to do this.
The discharger shakes in his hand. Hurt and anger flashes across his face.
I understand your anger, your pain, but killing him won't make all that pain disappear. It won't bring back your friend.
Kara gently touches Zack's arm.
Don't stoop to his level. You won't be able to come back from it.
You really don't know him, do you? He's killed countless people just like I have. You really think one more to his tally will hurt his conscience? Don't be so stupid.
Zack doesn't comment.
Just do it already.
Zack's grip tightens once more as he aims his weapon. My breath catches in my throat, and the air stills in taut tension as time seems to freeze.
No.
He lowers his weapon. There, exhales hard, then laughs.
You've gone weak. Maybe we aren't as much alike as I thought.
You're right. Because I'm nothing like you. I don't murder the people I care about.
What?
You were my brother for the longest time, and family is complicated. You'll have to live with what you did, and maybe it won't be today or tomorrow. But someday, your decisions will come back to haunt you.
Fire scoffs.
That soft heart is what got Damon killed, and what will eventually kill you, too.
Zack swings the charger around, crunching into Fire's temple. He slumps to the ground. The encroaching quiet seeping in seems to bring the life back to us. Zack breathes hard as he stares at the body on the ground.
You did the right thing.
He doesn't say anything. I glance over at Leanna. Her blue eyes watch Zack closely, her mouth a thin line. I wonder what she's thinking about. Hey! She glances at me and gives me a small smile.
Hey,
You okay?
yeah, I feel for Zack. It must have been really hard knowing that someone you trusted could have betrayed you.
Yeah. I hear a soft rustling and see Amelia rummaging through the books. Amy? She looks up.
Yes?
Are you sure now is a good time to be doing that?
The goal of this mission is to acquire the ledger which contains information regarding Kara's family. Is it not?
Her voice wavers as she tries to put on a brave face.
It is evident that these books are the ledgers which we seek. To find the specific book, we would need to require a lengthy amount of time which we do not have. I would advise all of us to assist in this function.
Yeah, but maybe this is her way of coping with the situation. I gesture towards Zack. He shakes his head.
Amy's right. We need to find the ledger and get out of here.
He shakes out of Kara's grasp and begins pulling out books.
What date should we be looking for, Kara?
Oh, let me think.
Kara heads over to Zack while Leanna and I jump in to help. Once we know what the dates we search for, we get started on sorting through the books. We work tirelessly, glancing behind us every so often to see if anyone's noticed us. Then Zack wordlessly hands Kara a ledger. Her eyes search as she takes the book with trembling hands.
Is that the ledger we require?
Kara nods but doesn't read it. We wait awkwardly, but Kara doesn't move.
Why don't we just take it with us? We can read it at a more fitting time. Right now, we might have to get out of here before more of the Brotherhood finds us.
Yeah.
Kara shakes her head to clear her thoughts, and her voice grows stronger.
I mean, you're right. We need to get out of here.
Amelia grabs a few more books and tucks them under her arm. What are you doing?
I'm acquiring proof should we wish to alert the proper authorities about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Good idea. I think those will be enough, though. Let's go.
The group nods, and we slip out of the room. I follow the group through a corridor, and we navigate to the exit. The sky is a canvas of darkness when we exit the house. Bright stars prick holes in the inky blanket of night. I let out a soft breath of relief. We made it! Zack marches ahead of us. He approaches the first guard we find. The guard stiffens as Zack approaches, taking in his black coat and scar.
Can I help you?
Yes, we discovered something that might be interesting to you.
Oh?
There's a band of dangerous mercenaries living in this area. They're called the Cloaked Brotherhood, known for taking on jobs which hurt innocent people. We've just discovered their home base.
The guard looks surprised.
I've never heard of this group.
That's the point.
He seems dismissive and skeptical.
It's pretty hard to believe that a dangerous organization has been in this town the whole time without our knowledge.
They don't operate openly.
Still, the guard seems unconvinced. Zack shoves the 3 books Amy grabbed from the ledger room to him.
Here's a list of some of their targets, and these are just a few of them. There's a whole room full of even more names and missions.
The guard rolls his eyes as he opens the first book, but his jaw tightens as he flips through the pages.
These are death dates.
Yes.
He continues to flip through the book, then opens up the second.
Look how far back these dates and names go. They've been operating for a while.
The guard snaps the book shut, his mouth frowning in obvious distaste.
Where did you say you found this?
His voice is hard and his eyes steely. Zack moistures the house.
There's a hidden doorway behind a curtain in the front room. You'll need reinforcements.
I'll look into this. If all of this is real, then there are serious crimes being committed.
His demeanor changes completely from the bored, listless man we approached. His footsteps are brisk and sharp as he seeks out his fellow guards. Kara is still clinging to her book. She clutches it to her chest. Zack notices Kara's expression.
Come on, let's go to the inn.
She furrows her brows.
What if someone sees you?
It doesn't matter anymore. The scouts will return to headquarters to discover an army of guards storming the place. I'll be the last of their worries.
That's true.
Kara sounds like she's still in a daze as Zack steers her towards the inn. The rest of us follow silently behind. We arrive at the inn. We hurry upstairs, walking faster than normal. Zack doesn't stop to make eye contact with any of the other patrons, even though a few of them do a double take. Kara goes into her room. Zack follows her and swings the door shut behind him, but it catches on the book of his heel, which stops it from closing all the way. He must have a one-track mind because he doesn't seem to notice.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Kara takes a deep breath.
Yes.
She closes her eyes.
No.
Her face twists.
But I need to. I need to know.
Take your time. Whenever you're ready.
She nods, not meeting his eyes. We should go. We should leave. Leanna and Amelia stand on either side of me, rooted to the spot. Even the Pongo is still and silent. After what seems to be an eternity, Kara flips through the book, biting her lip. There's a lengthy pause. I can see her eyes flicker across the page. She freezes. A visible weight seems to leave Kara's body. The book goes limp in her hand, hanging wide from her fingertips. I don't think she even realizes it's still there.
At least now I know.
Heartbreak flickers across Leanna's face.
Oh, Kara! I'm so sorry.
My chest gives a painful tug. Are you alright? Kara nods,
I'm fine.
but her voice is tight. She tries to put on a smile, but can't hide the pain from her face. Zack takes a step towards her. He touches her arm, and something in Kara's expression changes.
I'm fine. Really.
I know.
Kara's eyes begin to shimmer with tears. She shakes her head.
I know.
Gently he folds into his arms. Gently she folds into his arms. The ledger falls to the ground with a soft thud. Her voice cracks as she tries to hold back the tears. Zack's arms wrap tightly around her. She clings to him, and she can't hold back any longer. They stand there together, Kara's body shuddering from her deep sobs as Zack holds her, as strong and steady as a rock. My heart caves. I want to help, but I don't know what to do. Leanna touches my arm.
We should go.
I nod. Giving them space is maybe the best thing I can do for her and Zack at this point. Leanna and Amelie slowly walk away. I reach out and gently shut the door, following after them. We settle downstairs at a table while we wait. Leanna casts worried glances upstairs.
I feel for both Kara and Zack.
Yeah. Fire and Zack had the same intense history. I guess they both ran into the same circle and was looked after by Damon. Amy nods.
Ultimately, Vare was unsatisfied with the group, and to complete his initiation into the Cloaked Brotherhood, he had his team killed.
Wait. How'd you know that was his initiation? Amy fixes me with her big eyes.
Zack expressed that the Brotherhood's initiations require a hefty sacrifice. For Zack, it was to spill the blood of the innocents. It would stand to reason that the Brotherhood would have offered a similar mission to Vare.
That makes what happened even more horrific. How could he just turn on his team like that?
Hopefully, this was all worth it. Though, to give Kara some closure.
Yeah. Having an idea of what happened isn't the same as reality confirming it.
The conversation falls to a close. There's really not much to say after what happened. Finally, after what feels like an hour, Zack and Kara come downstairs from the room. We all shoot to a stand.
Hey, how are you feeling?
Kara hastily wipes her face.
It still hurts, but it's a little better now.
She gives us a small, weak smile.
Thank you guys for coming with me.
Leanna smiles back.
Of course.
A few other people from the inn send us curious glances. Some patrons squint at Zack.
We should get out of here.
A shiver runs down my spine. Yeah, I agree. All the muttering and staring is starting to make me feel uneasy. Not only that, but this place is still technically dangerous. I'd rather not have another encounter with the Cloaked Brotherhood. Not wasting any more time, we gather what we need and leave. When we are far enough from the city, we finally stop to make camp. The crescent moon hangs low in the clouds. Zack prepares dinner, and we sit around a small fire. The Pongo huddles close to Kara. She absent-mindedly pats his head and gives him a hug. It's silent for a while, with only the sound of flames cracking and crickets chirping in the distance. Even though Zack's cooking is always delicious, I find myself unable to concentrate on the taste. Kara chews slowly, thoughtfully. A part of me wonders if I should say something and ask how she's doing, but maybe it'd be better to give her some space. Kara clears her throat.
Thanks for everything you've done for me. I know you all didn't have to go with me to find the Cloaked Brotherhood, and it means a lot to me that you did.
Of course. There's no way we'd let you go through that alone.
Leanna and Kara share an expression of silent gratitude.
I'm glad I finally know what happened to my dad.
She breathes out a big sigh.
It's a bit crazy, but my greatest worry wasn't just that he might be dead, but that maybe he wasn't and he never came back for me.
Kara! She smiles, and for the first time, it looks natural. A bit sad, but also relieved.
It's okay. I know that he would never have abandoned me. Our separation was by force. There's no changing the past. At least now I can move on to bigger and brighter things.
She turns to Zack, and her expression softens.
What about you? Running into Veyer was unexpected, and it sounded like you had a lot of history.
Zack looks up. He hesitates and lets out a low sigh.
He was like a brother to me. We both lost our families. Both were orphans. And we were both taken in by Damon.
Damon was your mentor? Zack nods.
He was the leader of our band of mercenaries, and like a father to me. He taught me everything I know, pushed me to become the best I could be, and showed me how to survive.
He pauses as he stares into the fire.
Vera and I were the youngest. I was around 14 when I joined the group, and Vera had only been there a year longer. We bonded pretty quickly.
His voice trails off as he furrows his brow.
At least, I thought we did. I've been thinking about what he said, and I wonder if he's right. Maybe Damon did favor me.
Even if that's true, it doesn't mean he deserved to die for it.
No, of course not. Nothing can excuse what Veyer did.
Leanna's voice is gentle.
What happened?
Zack pauses as he collects his thoughts.
We'd been hired to transport a load of weapons. It was supposed to be an easy gig, one we'd all done many times before. Vera was our scout, and Damon and I guarded the trunk as we took passage on the Crystal Rail. Biggs and Jess were stationed in other Crystal Rail cars to spot any suspicious passengers. Damon sent Vera out to make his round on the Crystal Rail, as he had done a few times already. This time, it took longer than usual, and we were worried that he'd encounter some trouble. Damon had me search for Vera and give him back up if needed. I walked around the Crystal Rail, through the cars, asking the rest of our team if they saw him. No one did, and I couldn't find him. When I got back to Damon...
Zack pauses. Pain ripples across his face, his eyes haunted and bleak.
He was dead.
His voice is flat.
I didn't have time to look at the bodies. The men who killed him were still there, so I jumped out of the Crystal Rail before they could get me too.
His face curdles in disgust.
I assumed Fair died with them. I mourned for him.
His hands curl into fists. Kara reaches out and touches his arm. He flinches and then blinks at her. His eyes refocus and he turns away, taking in a deep breath.
They never came after you?
He shakes his head.
They probably assume I died jumping out of the Crystal Rail. After I recovered, I tried to seek out what had happened, but for years I couldn't find a damn thing.
He pauses.
I didn't know it was the Cloaked Brotherhood, and that Ver could have done that, or would have joined them. I lost everything that day, for the second time in my life.
I try to imagine how it would feel to mourn for someone I cared about, only to find out years later that they were alive and had betrayed me. The thought makes my stomach turn. Leanna shifts in the quiet, but Kara speaks next, her voice low.
And that's when you became the Deathslinger, isn't it?
Zack lifts his head.
Yeah,
The reports from the Mage Guild, they said you would take on suicide missions?
Missions kept my mind from thinking. I was good at what I did, and I had nothing to lose.
Shadows filter across Zack's face, and the group quiets. Leanna looks down as Kara places a hand on Zack's arm. He looks at her, and the shadows disappear from his eyes. As their eyes meet, Kara's cheeks begin to color, and Zack cracks a hint of a smile.
But I don't need to be the Deathslinger anymore.
Kara blinks and looks at Zack hopefully.
Oh?
He shrugs. He looks like he's struggling to get the words out. A slight blush dusts his cheeks and he coughs.
I found a reason to live.
It's great, man. I'm happy you finally found what you were looking for. Zack looks up and nods.
We should get some sleep. It's been a long day.
I nod. Yeah, I agree. Every limb and muscle suddenly feels sluggish, and I realize how much I pushed myself today. The same exhaustion seems to ripple throughout the rest of the group. I unravel my bedroll and smack it a few times, popping it out as best I can. Kara is the first one asleep. Today's event must really have exhausted her. In her sleep, her face looks smooth and peaceful. I hope she's able to get a good night's rest. Zack's bedroll shifts a little closer to her. When he gets close, I hear a tiny squeak. The bunko pokes his head out from Kara's bedroll and blinks at Zack. Through my haze of exhaustion, I see Amelia stretch out her hand. Her bracelets shimmer, and the embers of the fire snuff out. My eyes droop shut as I fall asleep.